Earlier today and after the release of the ARB State Department report, 3 State Department employees resigned. So is Benghazi now settled, or are there still unanswered questions? What does Governor Sarah Palin think? She joins us. Good evening, Governor, and your thought tonight about the report out of the State Department internal report.
Well, as someone said today, quite ironic that there's an admittance of mistakes being made, but nobody made them. Nobody's really taking responsibility for the mistakes being made. I look forward to hearing Secretary Clinton when she does have opportunity to testify, because there are so many unanswered questions. And kudos to Fox News for being the news outlet that stayed on top of the story. Americans deserve these answers.
I must say, with some level of pride, I mean, all the sort of heat we took from people saying that it wasn't a story, and indeed today, even you have Senator Dick Durbin saying mistakes were made. I mean, there was a lot of resistance. My colleagues, for instance, were kept from a State Department conference call when everybody in the media was briefed. Then the CIA had a briefing, and they didn't include Fox News. And then there was a security, the DNI released a report, and everybody got it but Fox News. So there's been a lot of resistance to my national security colleagues getting this information, so I do take some pride with them. The fact that 3 resigned today, what does that mean?
Well,
I guess it's 4. I'm being told it's 4.
Is significant. Okay, that's significant, but still, Greta, I think that the bottom line that is so frustrating to Americans is we were deceived. We were led in a season of electioning and campaigning that led to believe something that was other than truth. Americans were lied to, and yeah, some heads are rolling now, but again, still so many questions that have not been answered, and it just really illustrates that lack of transparency in the Obama administration. For the president even to get out there on a national stage and tell Americans untruths about this situation in Benghazi really begs you to ask the question, what else does he say and do that would be deceptive? I believe it's many, many things that he would say and do being deceptive.
Well, it certainly is curious. There were 2 letters sent by Secretary of State Hillary Clinton late last night, to the chairman of the 2 Foreign Relations Committee in the House and the Senate, and she talks about how immediately their eyes were on al-Qaeda. And if the eyes were on al-Qaeda, there's suspicion, what in the world, where did this video stuff come up with? And they kept pushing it. The president, of course, Ambassador Rice did, the president did on Letterman, on The View. You know, I mean, that still is so unanswered. Like, what in the world were they trying to do with that video business?
Well, bottom line is, during the campaign in those final days, Barack Obama wanted to keep that false narrative alive that he, Mr. Nobel Peace Prize winning president of ours, he pretty much quashed the terrorist activities, if you will, of some of these Islamic countries that he was able to reach out and kind of stem the tide of that hatred and the violence coming from some of these countries as it pertained to relationships with Americans. And that's not true. I mean, they even told Americans that al-Qaeda was on the run, and that is not true. Maybe they're on the run, but it's towards America, not away from America, and that played out in Benghazi.
Well, that's certainly peculiar they would say that, because my colleague Catherine Herridge saw an August 16th classified cable in which there were complaints that there were 10 al-Qaeda training camps in the area of Benghazi. So it's a little bit hard to say that al-Qaeda is on the run at that point. But let me ask you about something else, Governor. Time Magazine announcing its Person of the Year. Once again, it's President Obama. Now, Time Magazine says it is for the time the president's success in, quote, forging a new majority to create a more perfect union. Governor Palin, your thoughts on that?
The path towards a more perfect union is our Constitution, and I think that we have seen examples of our president not necessarily following the Constitution, in fact wanting to change the Constitution because he sees it as a charter of negatives, and he's made statements in the past about his view of our Constitution, and that's following it is the blueprint towards a more perfect union. But Time Magazine, I think there's some irrelevancy there, to tell you the truth. I mean, consider their list of the most influential people in the country and in the world, some who have made that list. Yours truly. That ought to tell you something right there regarding the credence that we should give Time Magazine and their list of people.
All right. Well, that's an interesting concept, but but it's funny, in looking at the president's choice, he was chosen before because when he was first elected. But the thing that strikes me is that I can't, it's Time magazine that says this sort of goofy stuff about like whatever the criteria is for seeking amid great adversity create a more perfect union. Exactly what that means, I don't know. But that's Time magazine. That isn't the president. The president didn't pick those words. That's Time magazine. So I point my finger at Time magazine when it gets a little silly. How about you?
I think that those are some silly words chosen to describe Barack Obama. When I first heard that, the first thing that popped into my mind was, what the heck has he done? What has he done except drive us over a fiscal cliff, which we are over, and now it's time to fill the thud at the bottom of that cliff. It's just now a matter of a degree of how hard we're going to hit bottom. But, other than that, really, what has he done to unify and make our nation a more perfect union? For the life of me, I don't know, Greta.